Good morning to all. Welcome back to botany sessions. And in these videos, we are going to discuss about mineral absorptions. It is one of the 11th chapters, transport in plants. So chapter is transport in plant. The topic is mineral absorptions. What do you mean by mineral absorption? Where is the sources of minerals? How plants are absorbs minerals? These are the topics now we are going to discuss in these videos. Mineral absorption. So the process of penetration and accumulations of mineral ions from the external medium or from the soil solution by across the plasma membrane by these phenomena is called mineral absorptions. Where the source of minerals may be soil solutions, that's a medium, external medium, soil solution is a source of minerals. How these mineral ions are entered into the root cells? By through cross plasma membrane by this phenomena is called mineral absorptions. See, the plants absorbs mineral in the form of ionic state, ions. Either may be positively charged ion or may be negatively charged ions. So the plants absorbs minerals in the form of ions. So these ions are exit in the soil two forms. One is either in the dissolved form in the soil solutions. One is dissolved in the form of soil solution. Then another one is adsorbed, in the sense attached to the soil particles. So either maybe there occurs in the soil solution in the dissolved form, another form it is adsorbed to the surface of the clay particles or soil particles. These are the two forms. So which part of the roots that are involved in the mineral absorption? We know that root hairs are mainly involved in the absorption of minerals, but not only from the root hairs and also epiblema are also called root epidermis, are also called rhizodermis. It is also involved in the absorption of mineral. What do you mean by epiblema or root epidermis or rhizodermis? It's outermost covering of the root. See, it's a root. The outermost covering of the root is called rhizodermis. There is excess of rhizodermis is called root hairs. Root hairs are mainly involved in absorption along with this epiblema. It is also involved in the absorption functions. So the process of movement of ion into the cell or exit the cells, these are called transport, are also called flux. What do you mean by flux? The process of movement of mineral ions into and exit of the cells by this phenomena is called transport, are also called flux. If their entry of ion into the cells, these are called influx. Exit of ions from the cell to the external medium is called efflux. So influx and efflux, generally called flux, transport, influx and efflux. So these mineral absorption ions can be explained or put forward to explain by many theories. How the plants are absorbs ion from the soils, how they enter, either maybe passively or maybe actively. But previously it is a mistaken, it's considered that mistakenly assumed that absorption of ion by the root hair cells along with the absorption of water. If the waters are absorbed by the root cells, Along with certain mineral ions also gets entered by passively, but it's mistakenly observed because these two processes are independent processes. Now it is identified ascent of sap, upward movement of water, and mineral absorption. These two processes are independent processes. So it is was previously it's considered as mistaken. These two processes are independent processes. So there are many theories have been put forward to explain this mineral absorption either maybe passively or actively. You know what is called passively? Without the expenditures of metabolic energy. No need of any energies required. They move from based on the concentration gradient, higher concentration to low concentration, they easily enter into the root as cells. That's called passive absorption. Active absorption against concentration gradient from low concentration to the higher concentration through with the help of certain carrier molecules, higher concentration, active absorption. These two theories have been explained. Now I will explain one by one. First one is passive absorptions. Then what is called passive absorption of ions? In the process of movement of ion from the higher concentration to the low concentration without the expansion of metabolic energy. No need of any ATP is not required for the movement of mineral ion. These are called passive absorption. The passive absorption, the first one is ion exchange. Ion exchange concept. What do you mean by ion exchange? The ions of the external solution, external soil solution, exchange with the ions which is present in the root cells, exchange the same charged ions which is present on the root cells. These are called ion exchange. Let us, for understanding, it is a root cells. Primary root, secondary root, tertiary, then final root S. So there is a K plus ion. It is a cations. They are absorbed on the surface of the root cells. Similarly, it is a clay particles, external soil solutions. It is a clay particles or clay micellae, clay particles absorbed with the hydrogen ions. See, what is called ion exchange? The ion of the external soil solution exchange with the same charged ions on the root cells. These are called ion exchange. What is the same charged? Anion, it is a negative charge replaced by anions. Cation positive charged by cations. So the ion exchange, the same charged ions exchange from where to where? From the external soil solution and the root cells. These are called ion exchange. So this concept have been explained through two theories. The first theory, or the two theories, first one is contact exchange. Contact exchange theory. Through this, how can we explain this theory, contact exchange theory? According to this theory, these elements are also called minerals, ions present on the surface of the root cells and the surface of the soil particles, not held tightly together, but they oscillate. Both these are oscillate with a small volume. These are called oscillations volume. Yes, these are called oscillation volume. The ions which is present on the surface of the root cell, on the surface of the clay particle, they are not tightly held together, but these ions are oscillate in the sense they swing, oscillate within a small volume of the space. So these are the oscillate volume of the potassium ion. These are the oscillate volume of the hydrogen ions. If the both ions are oscillated with a small volume, these are called oscillations volume. Due to oscillations volume, there is both ions are gets overlap. Yes, these are overlapping. The both ions are gets overlap with each other. As a result, the ions exchange takes place. But here, potassium ions, sorry, hydrogen ions are here. Then potassium ions are here. As a result, hydrogen ions are attached to the soil root surface. Here, potassium ions are attached to the clay soil surface. So, due to this overlapping of this oscillations volume, both ions are gets exchanged easily. Hydrogen ions are absorbed by the root cells. So, these are called contact exchange theories. The second exchange theory is nothing but carbonic acid. Carbonic acid exchange theory. So according to this theory, carbonic acid exchange theory, soil solution it is play an important role by act as a medium for the exchange of ions. Soil solution is a main. Let's for example, it is a root cell. It is a soil solutions. During respiration, carbon dioxide is released by the root cells. During respiration, carbon dioxide is released by the root cells. It combines with the water present in the external medium, soil solution, combines with water to form carbonic acid, H2CO3, carbonic acid. Otherwise, H plus HCO3 minus, carbonic acids. Now these carbonic acids are gets disassociated into hydrogen ion and HCO3 minus, that is called bicarbonate. Bicarbonate. Now these hydrogen ions exchange with the same charged ion present on the clay particles. Clay bicycle, here potassium ions. So these hydrogen ion, both hydrogen ion and potassium ions are same charged molecule. This hydrogen ion exchange with the potassium ion which is present on the surface of the clay particle. As a result, these potassium ions are released into the soil solutions. Now these potassium ions combines with the bicarbonate to form potassium bicarbonate, K plus, KHNO3 minus. Both are opposite charge. So the potassium ions from the clay particles are released into the soil solution. They are combines with the bicarbonate, HCO3 minus bicarbonate to form potassium bicarbonate. Now this potassium bicarbonate are easily entered into the root cells or absorbed by the root cells. So it is another way the minerals ions are absorbed by the root cells. How they are entered, we know that. So ion exchange, it is explained through two theories. One is a contact exchange theory, another one is a carbonic acid exchange theory. In contact exchange theory, same charged ions are gets exchanged, and in carbonic acid exchange theory, there are negative opposite charged ions are combined to enter easily into the root cells. Active absorptions. How the minerals ions absorbed by the root cells actively? We know that active absorptions. What is called active absorptions? The phenomenon of movement of or absorption of ions against a concentration gradient with expenditures of metabolic energy. by the utilization of ATP or metabolic energy, ions move from lower concentration to the higher concentration. These are called against concentration gradient, is called active absorptions. But here energy is required in the form of ATP. They are obtained, they utilize the ATP, they move from low concentration to the higher concentration. These are called active absorptions. But the plant cells, we know that's vacuole, it's one of the cell organelle, it's filled with the sap, is called sap, cell sap, or also called vacuolar sap. The vacuolar cell sap that shows the accumulation of both anion and cation, both positively charged ion and negatively charged ions that accumulated in the vacuolar cell sap against concentration gradients. So the mechanism of active absorptions can be explained through carrier concept molecule. Carrier concept. How can we explain this active absorption through carrier concept? This carrier concept, it was first proposed by Van den Honert, year 1933. In 1933, Van den Honert to propose a carrier concept. What do you mean by carrier concept? It's nothing but certain carrier molecules are involved for transport of ions from one surface, outer surface of the membrane to the inner surface. We know that cell wall, it is a highly permeable membrane. They allow to enter all the substance to pass through it. But where is the barrier? Plasma membrane is the barrier. Semi-permeable membrane is a barrier. That is a highly selective permeable membrane. It allows certain molecule to pass through it, not for all the molecules. So, how these mineral ions are across a plasma membrane? Through certain molecule. However, certain carrier molecule or carrier protein or membrane protein or transport protein which is present in the plasma membrane, that is act as a vehicle to pick up the ions from one side and across the plasma membrane to the other sides. So it's better easy to understand. Let us draw the diagram here. Yes, it is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, outside, outer surface, inner surface of the plasma membrane. There is a cations, anion. So there is a membrane proteins. This is a membrane protein. Yes. It is a membrane protein which is present in the plasma membrane. It is also called a carrier protein. It is also called a transport protein. So for this purpose, for transport of ions from low concentration to the higher concentration, inside the surface it is a higher concentrations. Higher concentrations. Outside the surface are low concentration, even though they should be transported through carrier molecules. So for this purpose, these carrier molecules to pick up the ion, positive charged ion or negative charged ion, to pick up the ions are binding with the ions to form a ion carrier complex. These are called carrier ion complex. So it is act as a vehicle. So these carrier molecules act as a vehicle to pick up the molecules or bind with the molecules, bind with the ion to form carrier ion complex. When this carrier ion complex which is present in the inner surface of the membrane, they gets disassociated to releasing of ions into the inner surface. Release into the inner surface. Again these come back to pick up the fresh ions by utilization of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, with the help of expenditures of energies required. For this purpose, these carrier molecule rotate 360 degree. For first it is a 180 and the next it is a 180. For come back to pick up the fresh ion, these carrier molecules are rotate 360 degrees. So easily they are entered from where to where, lower concentration to the higher concentration. These are called carrier concept. This carrier concept can be explained through two theories. One is cytochrome pump theory. Cytochrome pump theory. Another one is protein lecithin theory. I will explain one by one. This carrier concept can be explained through two theories. One is a cytochrome pump theory, another one is protein lecithin theory. The first one is cytochrome pump theory. This theory was proposed by Langerth and Bustow in the year 1933. Carrier concept was proposed 1937. Carrier concept was proposed by Van den Honert 1937. The cytochrome pump theory was proposed by Langerth and Bustow in the year 1933. Langerth and Bustow observed the correlations between respiration and anion absorptions. So what are the correlations between respiration and anion absorption? I mean negatively charged ion absorption is observed by Langerth, where when the plant is transferred from the water to the salt solution, the rate of respiration is increasing. So they are called anion respiration are also called salt respirations. So if the plants are transferred from the pure solvent water to the salt solution, the rate of respiration is increasing. So it is called anion respiration and also called salt respiration. Based on this observation, Langerth in the year 1950 and 1954 to propose the cytochrome pump theory. Based on these observations, certain assumptions, the cytochrome pump theory was proposed by Langerth. So let us assume that understanding easily better to understanding. Draw the diagram. It is a cell membrane. We know that cell membrane are also plasma membrane. It is made up of bilayer lipids. Yes, it is a bilayer lipids. Hydrophobic tail, hydrophobic head. One surface. It is another surface. Yes, it is an inner surface and the plasma membrane. It is a plasma membrane. It is the outer surface. So it's for better easy to understand. One is called cytochrome. It's a electron carriers. Arranged in the inner membrane. Yes, Fe2 plus reduced into Fe3 plus. Now Fe2 plus reduced into Fe3 plus. Now Fe2 plus reduced into Fe3 plus. So these are the various electron carriers arranged in the inner membrane. It is act as a carrier molecule to pick up the anions and the cations from outside the surface to the inner surface. So during this concept, I mean cytochrome pump theory, according to this theory, there is an enzyme is called dehydrogenase enzyme. Dehydrogenase enzyme, which is responsible for the formation of electron and protons. Now this electron which is passed towards away, the electrons which is passed outwards through various electron carriers, and correspondingly this anion, negatively charged anions are picked up by or entered inside the membrane by the enzyme is called oxidized cytochrome oxidase enzymes. Oxidized cytochrome oxidase enzyme. The oxidase cytochrome oxidase enzyme can pick up the anion corresponding to the electrons are transported to the outside, and it is picked up. The anions are picked up by these enzymes. They transport the anion from one component to the next component, and easily they transported, anions are transported to the outsides. How they are transported? When the electrons are transported from one complex to the another complex, correspondingly these anions also pick up by this enzyme that should be transported to one complex to the another complex, is easily cross the membrane and enter into the inner surface. It is one of the way. So another one is actually there are three assumptions. So anions are transported across a membrane through a carrier molecule by utilizing various energy, I mean metabolic energies required for these transportations of anion. What about cation? Cation is passively charged ions. So the cations are passed passively without any barrier, passively based on their electrical gradient created by the accumulations of anion in the inner surface of the membrane. See what's called electrical potential, electrical gradient. They are negatively charged ion, accumulations of negatively charged ion present out the surface. Based on the electrical gradient, the positively charged ions also they easily pass across a membrane without any barriers. These are called electrical equilibrium. To maintain the electrical equilibrium, the cations are cross a membrane passively, I mean without utilization of any metabolic energy. But anions are crossed with the help of metabolic energies required. These are the major difference between anion absorption and cation absorptions. So another one assumption, actually there is an oxygen gradient. Oxygen gradient, it is responsible for the oxidation and reductions. The oxidation takes place outside the surface of the membrane. Reductions takes place in the inner surface of the membranes. So it is another assumption. There is an oxygen gradient, the presence of oxygen more on the outer surface of the membrane. Oxygen gradient, it is responsible for the oxidation and reduction. Oxidation takes place in the outer surface, reduction takes place in the inner surface of the membrane. As a result, to form water molecule. The water molecules gets entered into the outer surface. So these certain assumptions are created or developed, assumed by the Lundgaard. So the cytochrome pump theory was proposed by Lundgaard based on their certain assumptions. So what are the assumptions? First assumptions, both the anion and cations are transported different. What are different? Anion transported through a membrane, cation transported without any membrane, without any carrier molecule. This is the first one. The second one is anion transported through cytochrome electron transport chain, but it is actively utilizing energy. But cation transported passively without utilization of any energy. Third one is oxidation reduction takes place. Oxidation takes place outer surface, reduction takes place inner surface as a result to form water molecules. But even though certain defects are there in this concept or cytochrome pump theory, what are the defect actually? He failed to explain cation transportations. He explained only anion transportation. He failed to explain cation transportation. And the another one is cation also induced respirations, not only for anion, but he observed only the correlations of anion absorption and respiration. He failed to observe the cation absorption. Another one is he failed to explain the selective pickup of ions, because the plasma membrane, it is a semi-permeable membrane. It is only selective ions only allowed to transport it. But he failed to explain what are the selective ions across the plasma membrane. So these are the defects there in the cytochrome pump theory proposed by Lundgaard in the year 1933. The second, another one theory is protein lecithin theories. Okay, the next is second theory of carrier concept. Lecithin, protein lecithin theory. It is proposed by Bennett Clark in the year 1956. In 1956, Bennett and Clark proposed protein lecithin theory to explain the carrier concept. So what is, according to this theory, there is a membrane or carrier proteins present in the membrane or plasma membrane. It is associated with phosphatidic acid to form a special type of carrier protein is called lecithin. Let us assume it is a plasma membrane. Cation and anion, negative charges, positive charges in surface. It is the outer surface. It is the inner surface. See, it is a special type of protein. These are called lecithin proteins. These lecithin protein present in the membrane, they combines with the phosphatidic acid to form A special type of protein is called lecithin proteins. The lecithin protein which is act as a amphoteric. Amphoteric means the ability to act as either acid or base. So, hence it acts as either acid or base. The both cation and anions they are combined to it. Both anion and cations are combined to these proteins to form a lecithin ion complex. Hence it is also called amphoteric. Both cation positive charged ion and negative charged ions are combined to this special type of proteins. That is why they act as a amphoteric. To form a complex is called a lecithin ion complex. Now this lecithin ion complex gets disassociated. Gets disassociated into phosphodidic acid, and lecithin, and caline. When it is present in the inner surface of the membrane, this ion or lecithin ion complex gets disassociated into phosphodidic acids and choline. In the presence of enzyme is called lecithinase enzymes. Now, this phosphodidic acid part of these proteins, this carrier protein, to liberate the cation positively charged ions into the inner surface. This choline part liberated negatively charged anions into the surface. So now again the lecithin is regenerated from the phosphodidic acid and the choline in the two steps. In first steps actually formation of acetyl choline. In the first steps, formation of acetyl choline from the phosphodic acids and choline by the enzyme is called choline acetylase enzyme. Choline acetylase enzyme with the help of a metabolic ATP is utilized. These are first steps. But the second steps, acetyl choline gets converted into lecithin again to pick up the fresh ions. By the enzyme is called choline esterase. So these are the two steps are required for the formation of or regeneration of lecithin again to pick up the ions to transport or cross a plasma membrane. First steps is catalyzed by the enzyme is called choline acetylase to form acetyl choline, and secondary reactions are catalyzed by the enzyme is called choline esterase. This regeneration definitely requires metabolic energy, ATP is required. Then last one is Donan equilibrium. Donan equilibrium. Then what is called Donan equilibrium? It was first proposed by Gibbs Donan. Gibbs Donan in the year 1911. So let us assume that there is a chamber. It gets separated by semi-permeable membranes. Semi-permeable membrane. Chamber A, chamber B. Then what is called Donan equilibrium? The process of, for example, it is a inner surface, it is a outer surface of the membranes. The process of entry of ions across a plasma membrane to maintain the electrical equilibrium is called Donan equilibrium. Let us assume that for better easy to understand, certain positively charged ions or negatively charged ions. There are 3 negatively charged ions are there in the surface, and 3 positively charged ions also there in the surface to maintain their equilibrium. Similarly, here also negatively charged ions and 3 positively charged ions. So these are called equilibrium, to maintain the equilibrium. See, due to the presence of certain non-diffusible ions, for example, Pr minus proteins. The proteins are negatively charged ions. Due to the presence of certain non-diffusible ions, as why do we call it a non-diffusible? It does not across a membrane, because membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. It does not allow to pass through all the membranes. Due to the absorption of these ions, they are called fixed ions. This fixed ion, they cannot pass through the membranes. So to maintain the equilibrium, certain opposite charged, here protein is a negative charge, certain opposite charged, positive charged ions are enter into the inner the cells through plasma membrane. As a result, these presence of positively charged ion are also cations concentrations are gets increasing inside the cells. Here the cation concentration gets decreased outside the cells. So based on their electrical gradient or based on their balance, certain positive charged ions again across the plasma membranes or semi-permeable membrane. As a result, to maintain the electrical balance and the equilibrium, it is controlled by the electrical gradient, and the diffusion phenomena is called Donan equilibrium. So how they are moved until to maintain the equilibrium. So the same number of positive and negative charged ions present both the inner surface and outer surface maintained by the phenomena is called Donan equilibrium. So the Donan equilibrium is easily calculated. For example, cations, positive charged ions present inside, and anions, negatively charged ion present inside. I refers for inside. It is equal to the cation present outside and anion present outside. So the number of cations and anions present the inner surface of the membrane, it is equal to the number of cations and anions present outside the membrane. To maintain the equilibrium is called a Donan equilibrium. Thank you.